And it's time for our Community Corner, where we highlight local organizations doing good right here at home. So today we have a free event designed to help families find balance in a digital world. More social, less media, a free community summit. I love the title, by the way. It brings experts, resources, and practical strategies to help kids, adults, all of us navigate technology and mental health. So joining us right now is Alexis Morgan. Great to have you.
Oh, great to be here. Thank you.
All right, as a mom, as a parent, massive topic.
It is.
One that definitely needs to be talked about. Super excited for this. Okay, so let's help people understand, though, technology, right? Like, we have to have this, but let's talk about the impact first and foremost on youth mental health. Why is it important for families right now to understand this?
Well, so this event was driven by the book, The Anxious Generation. So this is kind of coming out from that. So now this book that was presented about a year ago, they have data to support that technology and social media and all of those different concepts are impacting our youth. And so now it's like, okay, well, now we have data on this, so let's do something about the information that we have.
And I'm sure so many parents can relate and agree, but I've noticed that myself in my children, right? The minute you start kind of taking away some of the screens, the anxiety and the stress really drops. I have not read that book yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Just based on this conversation so far already. All right, so again, though, we live in a very technology-forward society. How do we find balance between what we have to use with the screens, because schools implement screens a ton, like majority of the education is done through screen time now, and then also its connection between social groups, right? A lot of kids are using it to stream and talk to each other, opposed to the phone, right? It's taking place of that, especially in younger age groups. How do we find a balance between screen time and a healthy medium of, no, you have to do more media, less screen time?
Yeah.
Sorry, more social, less media.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say that first, it's a very family individual specific, right? So that's going to differ from family to family. But ultimately, I think what we're talking about is, and it's, again, this is in the book, is that Dr. Jonathan Haidt really spoke about this idea that there was a decline in the play-based childhood, and there's been a rise in the phone-based childhood. And so I think that it's really important to have conversations like with your significant other, with your friends, with your kids, with their teachers, what's happening in their social circles and in their communities. If we're talking about these things, then I think it's going to be much easier to address them, because they're hard conversations to have. Our kids like their phones, our teenagers do, adults like their phones.
Yes.
And so, right, so it's about saying what is actually happening and how can we help our children and teenagers navigate this experience that we're all living in.
And this is something that people can learn when they attend this event. So let's talk about some of the topics and the guest speakers that are going to be available.
Yeah, so we have Chris McKenna from Protect Young Eyes coming in. He's out of state, and he's going to be talking about what our kids can actually access on technology and how parents can help them navigate in their homes and put up safeguards to protect them. What I notice so much when I'm talking with people is that adults are not actually completely aware of what kids can get access to on technology. And that's not meant to be scaring, it's meant to be educational and informative.
Yeah.
And so that's one speaker that we have coming in. We have Dr. Megan Smith from Boise State coming in, and she runs Communities for Youth. And they're looking at upstream prevention, ways that we can implement as families, as communities, to help our kids navigate this world that we are all living in now. Because to your point, it's here, and we need to just address and deal with it.
And it's such a challenging topic because, I mean, as a parent, right, typically I think you'd be able to talk to previous generations on guidance on how to raise your kids, but we are in a new era and a new time where I cannot go to my mother and say, Mom, what do you think about Lila's screen time? Should I be altering that? I mean, she has no clue, right? So it's kind of a whole new movement in parenting. Where can people go so they can be a part of this, they can educate themselves and help their kids have a brighter future?
Yeah, so we've got listed on the screen there, idaho-pta.org is a place to check out. YumiWeAll.org is another organization that we partnered with. We're also on social media, Idaho PTA, and also the Youth Mental Wellness Alliance. That's a mouthful, but they're another one that's there too.
So a number of resources. Make sure you get this on the calendar and attend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate you coming on. All right, everyone, stick around because we got a lot more to come right here on Idaho Today right after the break.